We witnessed over 4 lakh road accidents that resulted in loss of almost 2 lakh lives, which is an all-time high, and injury to around 4.5 lakh people.
Right.
So, given these stats, I think it's like a very easy choice to make, especially because it is also compulsory that everybody should definitely have a motor PA, every owner driver of the vehicle.
Right. Contrary to popular belief, accidents are quite common in India. In fact, India accounts for 11% of accident related deaths worldwide. Now, an accident can take place in multiple ways. It could be due to accidental fall, drowning, poisoning, etc. But one of the most common form of accidents is road accidents. The number of people killed in road crashes in India touched an all-time high in 2022 with fatalities crossing 1.68 lakh, which translates to 462 deaths per day, or 1 every 3 minutes. We also saw 4.43 lakh people being injured due to such road accidents. These injuries don't just lead to hospitalization but also cause permanent or total disability to the people traveling. But from an insurance point of view, what kind of coverages are available to individuals? While a comprehensive standalone personal accident policy does exist in the market, a PA cover is also available via motor insurance and often health insurance as well. But how are these covers different from each other? What options are available to individuals and how should one look at PA cover? You're listening to the brand new episode of Insuring India, a podcast by Digit Insurance, and I'm your host Sabri Saran. Stay with me for this wonderful conversation with Akanksha Jain, Head of Motor Product at Go Digit General Insurance, as we decode the personal accident cover available in the market and dig deeper into the various coverages it provides. How are these PA covers different from each other? How expensive or cheap they are, and more. Listen in. Akanksha, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast.
Hi Shabri, thanks for having me.
So Akanksha, without wasting much time, I'll get right into it. We are going to discuss about personal accident cover, and I want to start with the basics first because when I was researching for this, I wasn't too sure if people even know about the fact that such a plan exists, and even if they do, whether they opt for such plans or not. So can you tell us what exactly a personal accident cover is and why is there even a separate cover available for personal accidents?
Sure, Shabri. So, talking about personal accident, as the name suggests, it's a product that is designed to cater to instances where a person suffers from some accident, which could be something like slipping down the stairs.
Right.
So, what this product does is it provides a lump sum benefit in such an event, which is basically if the event unfortunately leads to death, then the nominee of the policyholder are provided the lump sum benefit.
Got it.
And also it provides some lump sum benefit in case of a partial or permanent disability arising from the accident.
Right.
So it's sort of a financial protection plan in case of that is available to the customers in case of an accident. And also it typically, like a personal accident cover, also provides the benefit of covering the hospitalization expenses in case the person is hospitalized because of that accident. So actually it is quite different from a typical health product. In a typical health product, the benefit is provided in case of an illness where a person is hospitalized, which would typically be like on cashless or reimbursement basis. Whereas, like we just discussed, personal accident is more a lump sum benefit in the moment of an accident.
Right, understood. So Akanksha, there is also a compulsory PA cover, if I'm correct, that is available when one buys motor insurance also, right? And I think few health insurance plans also offer an inbuilt PA cover. Can you tell us how are all these covers different?
Right, so let's start with motor. You are right, in motor there is a PA cover which is called CPA, compulsory personal accident.
Right.
And it is mandated by IRDA that any owner of the vehicle, when they are buying a motor insurance product, be third party or comprehensive, they should buy a CPA as well, of 15 lakh of sum insured.
Right.
So the cover in this is that they will be compensated, that is the owner driver of the vehicle will be compensated if they meet with some accident while they are in their vehicle as a driver or co-driver.
Got it.
So some lump sum is paid in case of death or disability in case such an accident happens.
Right.
When it comes to health, like not all health products will typically have a inbuilt PA.
Right.
So whenever somebody is buying a health product, they should check whether there is a PA cover inbuilt in it or not.
Right.
But typically if there is a PA, it would cover all perils. Unlike motor PA, which covers accidents only when you are in your own vehicle.
Right.
So for example, if you accidentally fall from a building, then it will be covered in a personal accident cover, but not be covered in a motor PA, because motor PA will only cover it when you are in your own vehicle.
Right. Understood, Akanksha. Akanksha, what are the coverages available to someone who takes a PA cover under motor insurance?
So the benefit under a motor PA are typically divided into two.
Right.
One is death. So as the name suggests, in case of an unfortunate event leading to the death of the insured,
Right.
100% of the benefit is paid to the nominee of the insured person.
Right.
When it comes to disability, broadly there are two things that we need to consider. One is permanent total disability,
Right.
which is basically the person is rendered completely disabled to be able to continue working.
Right.
So it could be loss of eyesight, complete loss of eyesight, that is in both the eyes,
Right.
loss of both the limbs, for example, losing both legs, or loss of one limb and one eye.
Right.
So in this case also, just like death, 100% of the sum insured is paid to the insured.
Okay, so this is also considered total disability, is it?
Right.
Got it.
And when it comes to partial disability, it is basically scenarios which lead to, for example, loss of one limb or one eye,
Right.
in which case 50% of the sum insured is paid to the insured. So basically how this insurance helps, or this cover helps, is that when somebody meets with an accident and it leads to the scenarios that we discussed,
Right.
they might end up losing their earning capacity. So to help them provide a safety net in time of need, this cover really helps.
But Akanksha, I was just wondering, people do own multiple vehicles, right? So if someone has a PA cover under, let's say, one of their vehicles, do they need to take this cover for all their cars or two-wheelers?
So actually there was an amendment in January 2019 under which PA was made mandatory only for one vehicle. So
Right.
if somebody is buying a new vehicle and they already have, for example, a two-wheeler and they're buying a second one, they do not necessarily need to buy another PA policy as long as they have a existing effective PA policy. Also, one more thing to note here is that in this amendment, one more thing was modified, where if somebody has any PA policy which is not necessarily motor PA,
Right.
which covers them for 15 lakh of sum insured at least,
Right.
then they can get a waiver for this PA under motor.
Got it. So Akanksha, let's talk about what many consider the most important aspect actually for anything in general, that is the pricing. How much does a PA cover cost? Like, is it expensive or are these products cheap? And can you maybe explain this with the help of an example?
Sure. So motor PA is actually very reasonably priced product. For a sum insured of 15 lakh, it should not cost you more than 500 typically. It can vary between insurers and based on few other things.
Right.
But typically somewhere around 500 or less, you should be able to get that cover.
Right.
When it comes to standalone PA, the price point will be significantly higher compared to the price we just spoke about.
Right.
Of course, the benefits are also different. Price can vary depending upon age, health conditions, occupations. Different insurance companies ask for different things.
Right.
But in terms of, if we compare the prices, motor PA is definitely like a very pocket-friendly cover available.
Got it. So Akanksha, you explained the coverages actually very well. Can you also tell us about the exclusions one should be aware of for a PA cover that is offered under motor PA policy?
Sure. So we'll talk about the few key exclusions that one should note for this policy. The first important thing is that the owner driver should be the registered owner of the vehicle.
Right.
Owner driver should be the insured name on the policy. And the
Okay.
owner driver should have a valid driving license.
Okay.
So we keep emphasizing on the word owner driver because this insurance policy is for the person, not for the vehicle. So
Okay.
it is very important to know that if somebody else is driving that vehicle who's not the registered owner
Right.
and is not the insured person on the policy meets with an accident, this policy will not cover them.
Okay. Understood.
So for example, if the car belongs to, say, a father in the family and the son is driving
Right.
and meets with an accident, then they cannot claim under this policy. It is specific to the father because he's the registered owner and as well as the insured person on the policy.
Understood.
And apart from that, few things to note is that some very typical exclusions would be that if somebody is driving under the influence of alcohol or
Right.
intoxicated while driving, so it will not be covered.
Right.
Or if it is like a self-harming like instance where it's like a attempted suicide,
Right.
for example, then of course it will not be covered. There are a few other exclusions that you will typically find in the policy document, but these are the few key things one should keep in mind.
Right. Understood. Akanksha, I'll leave you with one last question. PA cover is a term that someone might have come across multiple times, whether it's in their health insurance policy or motor cover or even as a standalone cover. So, what covers should one opt for to ensure that they have a comprehensive PA coverage?
So, Shabi, like we spoke about, motor PA, it is a mandatory cover for the owner driver of the vehicle under which is mandated by the regulator. So, this is something that every person who is buying a motor vehicle should definitely buy. And we also spoke about the price point, right? That it's very affordable cover, giving a very good coverage of 15 lakh at least
Right.
of sum insured. And as we continue to see, like, so in 2022 alone, we witnessed over 4 lakh road accidents that resulted in loss of almost 2 lakh lives, which is an all-time high, and injury to around 4.5 lakh people.
Right.
So given these stats, I think it's like a very easy choice to make, especially because it is also compulsory that everybody should definitely have a motor PA, every owner driver of the vehicle.
Right.
Then coming to PA, so like we spoke, PA is a more comprehensive cover. It covers people in mostly all accidental scenarios,
Right.
versus motor, which covers only motor related accidents.
Right.
So somebody who's looking for a more comprehensive coverage should definitely go for a PA cover, as it provides a wider coverage. Of course, the final decision comes down to how much exposure you have.
Right.
So people, for example, who work in high risk occupations or who travel a lot or who feel they are more prone to accidents should definitely consider a more comprehensive coverage. Ultimately, I think the decision comes down to the price point. So motor PA definitely is cheaper,
Right.
but PA might be slightly expensive but provides a wider coverage. So eventually, I think it's a decision that one needs to make for themselves, considering all this.
Right, understood. Thank you, Akanksha. I think I'll let you go now. Thank you so much for joining us on the Insuring India podcast and helping us decode the personal accident cover in such detail.
Thanks, Shabri. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation and liked our explainer series under Insuring India podcast. We hope to de-jargon more insurance-related topics in our coming episodes as much as possible and simplify a lot of concepts going ahead. That's all on this episode, folks. Do subscribe to us to keep getting notified whenever we drop something new. Thank you and see you next time.